Managing data in the Advanced Opportunities portal can sometimes feel like an overwhelming task. If you are the individual in your district or at your school that's tasked with this challenge, then this video will give you some, well, first of all, an overview on how to manage the data, and then offer some tips and tricks that might expedite the process for you. So if you're in a larger school district, generally in a larger school district, they'll have students create accounts. You'll manage that from the student side. There's a separate video that shows you how to approve student accounts, but you'll also be required to approve any of the funding requests made by students, so courses and exams. And so to do that, you'll navigate here to the Approvals tab, and you'll need to approve courses and exams separately. So let's take a look at how to approve courses. When you click on it, you'll find this table here. At any point in time, you can search by a particular student if you need to. You can use the search feature to search by a specific school. If you're working with multiple schools, you can search by EDU ID number. You can click on the EDU ID number to go to the student account details. But to approve the actual course, you'll need to click on the course name. So let's go ahead and navigate there. And here you will find details on the request. You'll see the student's first and last name, the term for which they've requested, the funds, and so forth. Now, if you live out of a taxing district and you have students attending a community college, please pay extra attention to this county of residency because it will impact their reimbursement from the county that they're eligible for, so make sure to be double checking that. This doesn't apply to Ada, Canyon, Twin Falls, Jerome, or Kootenai, but it does apply to all other 39 counties that have students attending a community college. So go through this information, make sure it's accurate, and then this status bar allows you to either approve or deny the request or update, and then you can save changes here. If you do deny a request, then you will be asked to enter comments here that explain why you denied the request. Now, anytime either comments are entered here in the notes section or something is processed for a specific course, the history of it will appear here in the table. So if you ever have questions about why a course was denied, or you want to see who generated the request, or maybe it was sent back to your district by the State Department, any of those sorts of things, the historical record of the request will always appear in this table here. After a course has been approved, those will move into this report here that says Courses Waiting SDE Submission. So we're going to go ahead and navigate here, and the table looks identical except for this report has everything that has been approved. And so if you're working with a large amount of data and say you want to go through and make sure that none of your students were missed, or maybe you need to edit a course, this is where you would find that information. So let's take a look here and say I need to edit a specific class. Maybe this student here dropped PE, and so I need to pull them out. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and look through the information, and then I'm going to deny the request. I'm going to say student has dropped the course and no longer needs funding, and then save changes, and then they will be removed from this list. But essentially, this is a list of everything that's going to be submitted to the SDE. From here, another feature that's very helpful is this export to CSV. It's available on all the tables in the portal, and when you export something to a CSV, it's going to create an Excel spreadsheet for you. So you'll open that and then create an Excel spreadsheet. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Essentially, this is what you'll get when you open this file, and over here on the top row, you can go to Data and Apply Filters. When you apply your filters, you'll be able to sort your information in a lot of different ways. You can sort it by class, you can sort it by term, and so forth. And so maybe you have a situation where a teacher comes to you and says, I want to see which of my students have applied for funding so that I can send reminders home to those that haven't. So if you have that situation come up, you can go over here, find the class. Let's say that maybe it was a speech class. Well, there's everyone who is in speech. You can send them that list and what they have applied for, and then provide that list to the teacher. You can also see here, you can filter to see what students have been enrolled by the course provider. So over here in column S, we see we have some that are true, some that are false. So let's look at the ones that are false. So it looks like, if I look at the count, I still have 114 minus the title row, so 113 records that still need to have enrollment verified by the provider. So in this case, I can look at the provider and see, oh, I need to work with Boise State, BYU, and Idaho Digital Learning to make sure that all of those turn true. Because if these are not true, if they're not changed to true by these providers, then I will not be able to submit my data to the State Department of Education. So this is a way that you can look to see where are your mismatches with the providers. You can select a specific provider, and so in this case you would call Boise State and say, all right, talk to me about these kiddos. What do we need to do to get them verified for enrollment? Or maybe they dropped the course, in which case then you would pull them out of the system. Another way that you can use this information, you can always reapply your filters, is to look at this flagged column. So we have one that has a flag coming up as true. So this one particular student, I want to go back and look at their account and see why do they have a flag, and maybe there's an unresolved issue that might be holding up their funds, in which case I want to pay attention to that. So using the CSV file and learning how to flexibly apply the filters is very helpful for those of you that are managing the different data sets. So with that in a nutshell is how you would manage data for students. Please remember that remedial and repeated coursework is not allowed to be funded. And so if you have students that require an extra eye on that, any repeated or remedial coursework, you may want to flag their accounts, which is discussed in a previous video on how to manage student accounts. So with that, if you have other questions, feel free to reach out to our support team. We also have videos on timelines and the overview of the data process, on how to set up for the district at the beginning of each term, how to manage student accounts, and then how to submit to the SDE. So if you need further information, you can navigate to either the help page of the portal or access that information on the Advanced Opportunities website.